it's Experion here. Hope everyone's doing well. Today, this will be a two-parter to the video I just made a couple days ago of what it's like to be a man who is embodying the divine feminine. I thought about it, and I definitely have some more points that I'd like to bring up in terms of that. So I was like, all right, made the first video, I'll just make a second one. So here we are. So let me not stall for too long. Let's get right into it. And starting with for the first point is that for me personally, as a man, I have a need to have a strong emotional attachment to somebody I'm interested in rather than the physical. Like in terms of if we had to compare the two, I definitely would need to have that emotional attachment much higher. I know for a lot of men, usually, physical attraction plays a huge part. For me, that is not the case. It does not matter how attractive the woman may be. If I don't feel it in my heart, that emotional connection with them, it just doesn't work. I'm just not interested, And that was something I definitely felt very different for growing up, especially when I would talk to my male peers, because they would always find me strange, as in like, what do you mean this girl is interested in you and she's good looking, and she said, why aren't you like engaging with her? Or even some of them would recommend, they would say, hey, even if you don't really like her that much, you could just hit and run, as they would say, smash and smash and dash. And that would always make me very uncomfortable, because one, just from how I am, as I don't know if it's more like a personality thing or how I was raised, but personally, one, that just makes me very uncomfortable to do that to somebody like that, because I place a huge emphasis on how people feel and their feelings, and I know how I would like to be treated and how my feelings are, so I wouldn't want to do that to someone else. And secondly, it's something where I just felt completely differently about it from the start, where a lot of guys would be comfortable with doing things like that, because they mainly just have that physical attraction. But for me, I knew deep down in my heart, even when I was younger and I wasn't sure exactly about who I was as a person, that I needed something deeper than just the physical, right? And that's something that, again, is carried up till now, today, where if I am pursuing someone, or if someone is pursuing me and we're actively having conversations or going out on dates, for me to even take any further steps toward, let's say, a firm, solid commitment, that emotional connection has to be there. Like, I have to genuinely like them as a person, really open up my heart to them. Then, okay, like the amount of physical attraction, just, it's nice, it's a plus, don't get me wrong. I don't want to I'm not saying I want to go to bed and wake up screaming because I think I'm still in a nightmare the person next to me, right? I don't want to do that, but it's definitely not the main focus for me. Moving into the second point, which kind of ties into the emotional attachment, is that sex is very sacred to me, like extremely sacred. I do not play about that whatsoever. I take my sexual energy very, very seriously. I do not just give it out to anybody like that. And honestly speaking, I prefer to just keep it within myself, like use it for me and me alone. Like, I don't want to really engage in that unless I am certain that the woman I am engaging with is also of a high spiritual caliber, right? And is someone who I can truly be safe around, you know what I mean? Emotionally safe. And physically safe too, Guys are not exempt from physical abuse and whatnot. But It's something very, very sacred to me. So that plays into what I was talking about earlier about the emotional attachment, because I just can't. I cannot just go out there and just have intercourse with a lot of women. I will. It's hard for me to even find words. It is literally impossible for me to do that. Impossible. Like I just can't. I just cannot. My body itself will reject that entire concept, that entire perspective. You know, it doesn't even matter. Like I just can't do it. So that's one thing where it has always been incredibly, incredibly sacred to me. And even if I were to engage, if I were to reach to that point, it would be like a ceremony, like a ritual for me. I'm serious, like a sexual, intercourse. It would be like a ritual for me. I'm the kind of person that would prefer to take their time, engage in foreplay. I'm not all about the, again, smash and dash. I'm not there to speed things through, and I want to take my time. I want to enjoy it. I want to make a ceremony out of it, because it's special and it should be treated as such. So that's another point where it's like it plays more into embodying the divine feminine, because those are traits that the divine feminine embodies mainly, right? And moving on to the third point, intuition. Oh my goodness, the intuition I have had, and up to this day still do have, it is on another level. I would call it basically future sight. That's how good it is, where I could just look at a situation and I can just intuit. I just know what's going to happen next. I may not be able to explain it to you, but I just know. It's just, you just know. It's like your body just picks it up. It's like an instinct. There have been so many situations where I've seen a situation and I've seen exactly how it plays out in the future. And guess what? Exactly what I suspected happened exactly as it was. And it's something where it is such a powerful gift. I really am so appreciative of it, because not only is it beneficial for me personally in my personal life, it benefits the people around me too, and it benefits me in many different aspects of my life. It can be something as simple as my physical safety, because having that high level of intuition has helped prevent me getting myself into a lot of danger, because you can just pick up certain things. Not only that, it's exceptionally good. I feel like people don't talk about this point enough. It is exceptionally good when it comes to, let's say, marketing, for example. Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry about that. That is my neighbor's car. I'll start back. I'll cut and then bring it back when that stops. 1 second. As I was saying, it's really good in marketing and business matters as well, because I cannot tell you how many times I've seen things on the news, seen things in the market, observed certain things, and I'm like, I can just intuit what's going to happen next, or what is going to be most likely to succeed in the next couple of years. And lo and behold, 99.9% of the chance, I am always correct. It always pans out exactly how I see it's going to pan out, right? So it's like, being able to capitalize on that is truly a blessing. It's truly a gift, right? It's amazing, and it's a wonderful, wonderful gift that really, I feel like, is not talked about enough, especially in business matters, because a lot of people think that when it comes to things like intuition and you just know, they're like, oh, that's too spiritual and mystical and himmy-dimmy, whatever. But the usefulness of how actually great it is in these business situations, in these scientific situations, in these so-called logical situations, the benefit is beyond measure. And the thing is, you hear it all the time with these very successful people. They trust their gut a lot more than you would think. That's something that to pay attention to. Why is it that they trust their gut? you know. That is a quality of a person where, you know, they know and they can trust their intuition, and that's why they are so successful, you know. So that's something I feel like really needs to be honed in on. You know, it's a really good quality. And moving on to the next point, my preferred state, I prefer to be very soft, I prefer to be gentle, I prefer to be receptive, I prefer to be attentive. Not saying that I don't like to be competitive and a bit aggressive from time to time, but that's not my preferred state. You know, I prefer to be the kind of person who is more quiet, more soft. You know, I'll listen to you. You could talk forever. I will just sit there and I will listen to you. That's fine. I'm cool with that. You know, as long as I'm learning something, or even not just learning, just being receptive to what you have to say. It's something where I prefer to be that. You know, I feel a lot more comfortable in my own element, being in that state. And I've realized that because of that, I find a lot of people, they just find themselves telling me things. They just start talking. You know, I'll be there, and yes, I will make a little small talk, but eventually, what always ends up happening is, they just start talking and talking and talking and just start, and I just receive. I just, okay, really, that's interesting. You know. But yeah, it's something where that's just what I prefer. That's just my preferred state. And it's something where I feel the most comfortable being right in that state. Moving on. I don't think this is going to be a very long video, by the way. I don't think so. Because I mean, like, I covered the main majority of the points in the first video. So this part 2 is just like a brief run through of like extra points that I thought would be really good to add on. This one here, this next point, I think is very, very important, and it's something that I don't think I've actually told anybody until like now. Like, this is like the first time I'll be saying it. So not only will I be saying it, I'll be saying it out in public, right? And that is the need to have that vulnerability with my partner, like to be completely seen, vulnerable and open with them, right? That need to be emotionally safe. That is something that I have had for as long as I can remember, that deep need and desire to be vulnerable, you know. And especially as a guy, it's not easy at all. It's not easy because, again, like how society is, men being vulnerable isn't exactly what's the phrase, shedding a good light. It's not. And thankfully now, you know, like, it's beginning to get more traction, in the sense that, you know, people are starting to realize, hey, you know, it's good for men to really open up about their feelings and really be more vulnerable. Where there still is a large amount of this idea that, you know, like, men should not be emotionally vulnerable. You know, you're always going to be tough and cold all the time. And if a man, God forbid, is emotionally vulnerable around his partner, there's a high chance that she will end up being revolted or disgusted by him, and which ends up turning into like a whole negative cycle, where now the man gets that response and he just shuts down everything completely, right? Thankfully, I'm in a state where I'm very much, how should I say it, solid within myself, so that I know, like, what my needs are and my desires are, and who I really am authentically as a person. So due to that, I have to be extremely selective and careful with who I decide to engage with, especially if it comes to like a relationship, because I need to be vulnerable with my partner, whoever that may be. I need that. I really do. Like to just be completely vulnerable and seen, because that's something that's like I've always wanted that. I've needed it, but I haven't gotten it as yet, right? So that's something where that is most certainly just fully into the divine feminine, which further proved to me, you know, that I embody that a lot more than the masculine. And it's something where, again, as a guy, it is challenging to navigate. However, it is not impossible. Once you can find someone, it does take a lot of patience and self-control. Once you find someone that, you know, can really see you and have that emotional space for you, where you actually feel safe, you know, in their presence, it's the best thing ever. Now, again, I haven't experienced that yet, but one can imagine. One can imagine. And yeah, the last point that I wanted to bring up is that the feminine, the divine feminine, is very reflective. They are like mirrors, you know. They will reflect back to you what you are. And that is certainly what I am as well. I am quite the mirror. Whenever people interact with me, be it whether they like me or they dislike me, I am reflecting back to them who they really are, because I am so authentic within myself, right? Whenever they interact with me, you know, it will always bring up something in them that they will realize, or that, you know, it could be a wound, anything. And it's something that I also realize that, hey, you know, this is unusual at first, because, you know, because I couldn't understand why certain things were happening, or why I was bringing things, certain qualities or responses out of people, right? And it's only when coming to this realization of, oh, okay, I'm embodying the feminine, that's when I came to the realization, that's what's happening, right? That's what's going on. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This was not meant to be like a super long video. It's just that I was thinking about the video that I made, and I realized, hey, I missed out on some points that I wanted to also just quickly state. So that was that. But yes, at the end of the day, you know, these are qualities that that made me realize that, you know, I'm embodying the divine feminine. And again, I will reiterate in this second part as well, that to the guys out there, you're not alone. All right, if you feel like this, if anything what I've stated in the video, in the first video or this video, the second part, that you resonate with, that you feel like, whoa, you know, this feels like me, listen, you should definitely keep up to date with me. You're not alone. There are other guys out there that feel the same way, and we really need to like band together, you know, like really need to band together, have a community, because we are the minority. Trust me, we are the minority. They ain't many much out there like us. So, you know, this is also like a call, pretty much. This is a call. Like, this is me personally putting this out there to hopefully find others like me as well, to find you guys, and create our own little community, you know, our own form of family, to have that solidarity, because I think that's really important, really important, you know. We need that, we really do. And not only for us guys who mainly embody the divine feminine, but for masculine men as well, who want to balance themselves out and fully integrate both their masculine and their feminine, they need us as well, right? They need us as well to help them integrate that feminine aspect as we have already done so, right? So hopefully this helps somehow. If it does, feel free to give a like, subscribe, leave a comment, whatever, however you want to support, I'll leave it up to you, right? But I'll leave it there, and thanks so much for watching. If you've reached the end of the video, I will see you in the next one. Peace.